Well, hello and welcome back to Module 6 of this Games in Schools course. In Module 6 we've been talking about why it's important to teach about games, and in this short video we're going to be having a think about how games have evolved over time. Because you see, the thing is, games just aren't the same as they used to be. There have been massive changes in the gaming space over the last 20 plus years. And it's important as educators we think about how this might have an impact on children and young people. One of the biggest changes that we've seen is this whole concept of what we might call a freemium game. In the past, games used to be expensive. You would go into shops and you would buy them. However, now one of the common business models is that a game might be given away for free, but then you pay in order to unlock certain levels, certain characters, or even to upgrade your own special powers. We call this freemium. The reason it's important for us to talk to children about this is because, of course, freemium just isn't free. And littered across the whole of the news in recent years have been different examples where young people have been sucked into these freemium games and have ended up spending an awful lot of money on their games, buying virtual characters, virtual furniture, fighting virtual dragons, etc, etc, etc. Now, not only is this a financial education question, but it's also a question and something that we should be asking parents to make sure that they understand about the parent settings on their different games consoles, tablets, mobile devices, and even personal computers. So freemium is one of the big changes that we've seen in games over the years. The other big change that we've seen is how different games have changed over time. Let's take, for example, things like Super Mario. If we look back at the original graphics of Super Mario compared to the graphics that we've got now, it's completely different. So what's my point? Well, games are starting to become more and more realistic and more lifelike when we play them. And it's not just about, different games and how we play them as well. It's because they're starting to look more and more realistic. They're also starting to sound a little bit more realistic as well. You can actually hear the gunshots and other things. And at the same time, we can even now start to feel things inside games. This is some body armor that you can buy for PC-based games, and you can start to feel if you've been shot or feel if you've started to be stabbed. So games are starting to look more real, they're starting to sound more real, and they're also starting to feel more real as well. And of course, in the past, we used to have the controller that would separate ourselves from the gameplay. This is an example of a game called Manhunt, when you're trying to escape from a prison. And one of the things that you have to do is suffocate other people using a plastic bag. It'll come as no surprise to you that this game is rated PEGI 18, highly inappropriate for young people. But of course, if we think about some of the most recent gaming technology in the form of the Kinect or in form of the PlayStation form camera, now we've not even got the controller in order to protect ourselves. We can carry out different moves, whether that's fighting, kicking, sword play, or stabbing, and actually this comes through quite heavily, on the game itself. So games are looking more real, they're sounding more real, they're feeling more real, we're actually carrying out the actions. And then of course we need to start to think about one of the other things that we mentioned in a previous video, is what is going to happen when we start to get more augmented games or even games including virtual reality. We're going to be completely submerged into that game space. And what's my point? Well, my point is that I'm not saying that this is wrong. But what I am saying is that when you played a game a number of years ago, there were some clear boundaries, because the game actually was pretty playful. It didn't look particularly violent, it didn't sound particularly violent, you were actually using a controller to do it. But as games start to look better, sound better, feel better, and you're actually carrying out these motions, will young people start to get a more blurred boundary around video game use and the types of activities they carry out in real life? I'm not saying that they will, but I certainly think this is something that we should think about in terms of educators. So this is what I want you to do. I want you to think about what I've said there. It's quite a deep question really, and I want you to go online and I want you to explore to see, is there any evidence of violent computer games having an impact on children and young people? Why don't you report what you found out using one of the social media channels or on the Games Course forum? Look forward to seeing you in the next video, where we're going to be talking about games.